God Network News, where we give you a new perspective
on events happening in our world today.
This is GNN.
This is God Network News, episode 69. Welcome, GNN fans, to another episode of God Network News, the podcast that tells you what God's doing around the world. Not what CNN tells you, but what GNN tells you is going on in the world. If you're tired of listening to all of that crisis network news and you want to hear what God's doing, well, give us a listen.
This podcast is proudly listed at podcastpickle.com.
Welcome to another great episode where we bring to you stories from the field, exciting transformational stories about God reaching out to unreached people groups through media and other means. Today we have an exciting testimony of a ministry that produced an evangelistic film for a very unreached people group, and this people group has responded tremendously to that medium. And so have a listen to this. It's very exciting. Hold on to your seat. It's an amazing ride.
Minangkabau. It's the on Sumatra. It's called the least evangelized island in the world. And so we were doing the prodigal son, and the lead actor was playing the elder brother. He, from a series of events and praying for him, things, he wanted to become a believer. So we prayed for him, and at the time it was like cassettes. He goes, I'm actually a famous singer throughout the islands. And then people, other Muslim guys were going, whoa, he's very famous. And he goes, so what do I do now? I'm a believer. How can I share my faith? And so we pray for him and encourage worship teams to go encourage him, and just we didn't really hear what had happened. So Calvin was speaking in a school of frontier missions in Singapore, and Rob Francis was introducing him, and he said, so you guys remember that when we were going all throughout Sumatra, and we saw that traveling troupe, and they were really sharing the gospel, culturally relevant ways, Minangkabau culture. And so we went up to this guy and said, wow, how are you being able to be so open in a Muslim nation? He goes, well, there's this team that came, somebody something told me I should do this for the Lord. And so he goes, Rob goes, we happen to know this guy, and he goes, yeah, if you ever see him, thank him for me, because I'm empowered to share the gospel, and I really want to go for it. So Calvin said after that he could hardly share. He was so excited about it.
I hadn't heard the story. I was just part of the other day.
So then so we kept praying for him, and then we were asked to speak in a church in Singapore. It was Princep Church. It was one of the early churches in Singapore. And so when we went in, we saw this picture of Minangkabau people, and I'm like, that's my picture. And they had done this big painting of it. And I go, so you guys have adopted the Minangkabau people? And they go, yeah, a few others. But yeah, Minangkabau is one of the groups we're interested in. We go, we'll say a story about this guy that came to know the Lord. I'm sure you were praying for him and things. And so we had 3 services to do. So 8 o'clock service, somebody came up, I think we know this guy that you're talking about. And they go, yeah. So then by the second service, they said, yes, that's the guy. We actually support him. He's a pastor, gone on to lead, have multiplying fellowships and be a pastor that we're really familiar with. So then by the third service, they got him on the phone to us. And he goes, Ibu, so it was one of the mother, I'm so happy to hear from you, and I'm so thankful that 20 some years ago you brought me to the Lord through the film, and now I've multiplied and I've done what you told me to do, and I've shared the gospel indigenously to my people. So.
Wow.